This week, you get to say how the Sharks win or lost this week. You put this chart out here, baby. You tell us. What do they do this week, Sam?
They got to win.
Yeah, they did.
They got one.
Which win did they get? They got the win that your boy Vinny
They
G
got
picked.
the one that Vince picked. 4-0 against St. Louis. They dropped. They lose 6-3 versus Dallas. That was our pick. We lost.
Yep.
And then they lost 3-1 against Minnesota.
There you go.
So hopefully they land that number one pick and add to this young roster, and maybe they get to turn around next year, because this was brutal.
I didn't even change the standings in the West or NHL.
Didn't have to.
You could check me if I was wrong on the
Chicago.
NHL
No,
part.
I did take a quick little peek just to make sure. Chicago is 7 points clear of the Sharks. The Sharks are going to finish dead last in the league.
Yeah.
At this point. So but Sam, you did put this little chart in here, and what's happening here is I believe these are the odds for landing the first overall pick or second or third overall pick. Is that what's happening?
So from
here?
what I understand, the Sharks, if they finish as the worst team in the league, they're guaranteed a top 3 spot.
Yes.
So they have a 25.5% chance to get the number 1 overall pick, an 18.8% chance to get the number 2 overall pick, and a 55.7% chance to get the number 3 overall pick.
Correct.
So that's what we're looking at. That's the chart. So we're hoping the Sharks get the number 1 overall pick, and maybe they get a player that's transcendent.
Yeah,
what we're hoping for. Maybe we could buy his jersey.
That's right.
Yeah, I know, right?
I still can't believe that happened. Like, we recommended Tomas Hertl. Oh, that's an unmovable contract. You know, you can feel pretty safe about buying that one. Nope.
Yeah.
Literally. But I actually saw a video of him like on Instagram. He was taking the ice in a red practice jersey, which I guess is the no contact jersey for the Golden Showers Knights. Excuse me. So that hurt. That one hurt.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'm not even. I hear that there's that kid. Oh God, I want to say he's in. I know he's in college, but I can't remember what college he's playing for. And he's a defensive man.
I have it on another page. It's Macklin Celebrini.
Yes.
Celebrini. Yeah, Celebrini's
the center out of Boston University.
Yeah, so he's the most sought after this year. It looks like. I think there's a little bit of building to be done with him, but I think as far as top players, he's probably the best option out there right now. So hopefully the Sharks land that. I mean, I'd love to see a Celebrini goal. Like, it writes itself. We're here, you know. I'm all for it, man. 25% chance of getting that first pick. I would be so upset if Chicago gets it, or like Anaheim. If Anaheim gets it, I'd be really upset.
Yeah, well, so I mean,
the Sharks win it last year.
They did, and that's how they got Connor Bedard.
So I mean, like, that'd be the most fucked up thing if they get that and Celebrini.
See, that would actually remind me of what happened to Pittsburgh back in 2004. They had the first overall pick. They got Sidney they got Evgeny Malkin first. Right. And then the lockout happened. There was no season for the entire season. So they just kept the same draft order, and then they landed Sid the Kid. And that basically turned that entire franchise around. They missed the playoffs for the first time last year, basically since Sid has been there. So and they've won 3 Stanley Cups, I believe, since then. So that ended up working out great for them. So I mean, top of the line franchise altering players aren't available all the time, and if you get yourself to number 1, Macklin Celebrini feels as close to one of that kind of player in this year's draft. He's probably like that's the guy that you want, and I need the Sharks to get that pick. I need them.
So in you guys watch a lot more hockey than I do. I tune into a few games here and there. But what's your overall sense of the team right now? Obviously, they're competing for the number 1 pick, But are you seeing some bright spots? How are the young guns playing?
Yeah.
William Eklund looks good.
William Eklund looks really good.
Yeah, he just won Player of the Month for March, actually, for the Sharks. The team's not quitting on the coach. They're just not good.
I would also say this is like, it is very rare to find in a draft a good goalie. Like, it is extremely rare. A lot of times they become established as they keep playing. And the Sharks haven't been able to trade for one at this point, but they probably should next year because, no offense to the talent that we have there, they're young kids, and one of them probably won't be on the roster next year, but the local kid there. But yeah, goalie is. I mean, there's a lot of weak spots on this team, but goalie is.
Well, I mean, goalies are just like, not only are they hard to find, sometimes they just get hot and cold too. Aiden Hill was dog shit for the Sharks. He goes to Vegas and he's a Stanley Cup winner and he's the starter the entire way through the playoffs.
But that could also, I mean, I would argue, as much as I don't want to cheer for Vegas, but it also could be the way they're set up as an offense and a defense, right?
Right.
So like
Sharks
really good defense.
A really good defense in front of a goalie makes a world of difference as well. So I mean,
and
it wasn't entirely Aiden's fault.
So like Bernsey was an offensive defenseman. So like a lot of the time Sharks were looking to try and get like a fast break or like just get out there quick. They didn't really lead games in like shots on goals back then, because they were just trying to get in, get out, and get back on defense because they were so far ahead on their lines. So that was one of the things that was kind of like nerve-wracking to watch the Sharks back then, because defensively you're like, fuck, we're gonna give this up. Like, I just feel it. We're gonna give up this goal. It's gonna be a tie game or something, right? But that's just the way they played. They played that way. So I think the Knights were a lot more of a bruiser defensive team. They played back, and they had two strikers that just could get it in no matter what. It didn't matter how their offense was set. So I think Aiden Hill benefited from that.
Yeah. So that brings us, I guess, to one of the we're only doing this a couple more times. We have our win of the week segment now. So this coming week, we have the Sharks playing tonight, Monday, versus Seattle, Thursday versus LA Kings, Saturday versus St. Louis, and Sunday versus Arizona. Tyler, you're half a point behind me. My win put me back in front, so I'm gonna let you pick, and I will not pick the team that you pick because I want us to stay live as a sort of gentleman's agreement that we have.
I'll take the soft pitch.
All right, so you're taking Arizona is what's happening here.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I will add that there. I will take, you know what? I'm going to take tonight's game versus Seattle.
It's not a bad pick.
Yeah.
That's if I were to go second, that would be my pick too.
All right. And Sam, you want to pick a win of the week? Who do you got?
I'll take Arizona because they're not very good either. So we'll see.
All right. There we are. I will capitalize the T in your name. There we go. Okay. So as it stands right now, like we said, I have 8.5 points on win of the week. That 1/2 was a shootout loss, like, toward the beginning of the season. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that we've gotten 8 of these, 8 of these right, I
mean, we started like what, maybe 2.5 months ago?
Yeah, they only have 17 wins on the season. So we've got
I didn't even think of
right,
that.
And there were a couple of weeks where they won 2 games that week, So I mean,
I didn't even think
there
of
hasn't
that.
been an opportunity to get a point for a while, and the fact that we've kind of been on this, man. We've done pretty good overall, I think.
I mean, that's what happens when your team loses for a month straight.
Yeah, that 9 in a row was not fun, man. That was rough.
Nothing like owning the record that you don't want.
No kidding. I actually did see a video. Somebody put like Lisa Simpson playing the saxophone while dancing like over the Sharks logo when they finally won. My brother sent that to me.